Good day and welcome to the Global Fleet Conference 2021, looking ahead to next year and to the future. Hi, I'm Jonathan Bates, MiX Telematics EVP of Marketing. Been at MiX for 9 years, working in senior marketing and product management roles. Prior to joining MiX, I worked for PSA Peugeot Citroën in the European light commercial vehicle sector for 7 years, where PSA were the consistent market leader in terms of annual sales. Today, over the next 18 minutes, we're going to be looking ahead to the future of fleet connectivity by going on a journey through both time and the data multiverse. We'll look at the current prevailing fleet connectivity trends, how the future is shaping up, and some of the key strategies to be employed by fleets to maximize the benefits of connectivity in the coming years. Finally, we'll land back on our own planet and take a look at the symbiotic relationship between fleet connectivity and our world's sustainability priorities. So please strap yourselves in and let's get moving. Specifically, our journey as the connectivity community today will take us through 3 distinct topics, all of which are interrelated, starting with the importance of the evolving fleet information experience, moving to the transformative impact of artificial intelligence and machine learning for fleets, and then how we can craft a sustainable future together. And to understand where we're going, we'll need to take a brief trip back in time to where our connected experience all began. Back from the dawn of time for fleets, we've always had existential questions that have needed answering. Those facets that cut to the very core of how we operate fleets. Questions like, how can we improve our fleet and driver safety? How can we make our fleet more efficient? How can we keep our assets secure? And also, how can we ensure that we remain compliant with legislation? And as we traveled out into this newly formed data universe, we could see some outposts of data that were ripe for exploration. So we investigated each one to see what we could learn to help us answer those existential questions. We found some useful raw materials like basic vehicle driver and locational data points, all of which needed a great deal of mining. And initially, we were ill-equipped to generate true value from them. Ergo, we got back on the rocket and returned to base to develop applications that we fitted as a core part of our ongoing instrumentation toolkit, refining that base data into meaningful information. And with some experience gained through education and collaboration, we finally found some answers to those fundamental fleet questions. But as time went on, and we built ever more sophisticated fleets that grew in scope, scale, and we encountered additional pressure to get better and better at what those fleets did. Those answers that we found seemed to fall short of the new wave of expectations. And gradually, they curiously started to generate more nuanced questions than actual answers. Our cleverest minds committed to the task of finding new, more expansive answers, as well as looking for ways to answer the new questions that were rapidly emerging. And now we return through the time stream back to the present day, or possibly the near future, dependent upon where you are in your own personal fleet journey right now. A cornucopia of new problems had arisen by the time we got back to base. And when we thought about it, most of these problems had come up as byproducts of the well-meaning data mining practices that we'd needed to undertake to solve our first batch of problems. Our smartest scientists all came to the same conclusion, that these questions were an inevitable evolution of thinking that would arise for us as and when we individually reach a gestalt of a fleet technological and business growth inflection point. The raw materials that we had possessed in the past were not capable of being the foundations for the kind of advanced thinking and ensuing analysis now needed to develop acceptable answers to this new composite of questions. Fortunately, just like the development of the chemical periodic table, we could actually predict the existence of other raw materials of data through their shadowy absence in the scientific order of the causality chain. Back out into the data universe we went with improved technological tools for the detection and capturing of new raw data materials. We discovered more than we had ever thought was originally possible, and we set about applying some order and structure to integrating different classes of data. Because we knew we would need the right tool for the extraction job, and then the right tool to convert that raw data material into valuable information. Thus, we catalogued connected vehicle data using an extraction tool called an onboard telematics computer, which was designed exclusively for the job. We did this knowing that there were thousands upon thousands of variations in each data type, but through painstaking persistence, we built comprehensive libraries of the richest connected vehicle data sources. But as time went on, we kept discovering that each planetary system will continue to create endless new assortments of the same type of data, and it became increasingly costly and impractical to keep working the same way. So another brilliant group of scientists figured out that we had the opportunity to actually befriend the planetary systems, and they would allow us access to extract the detailed data using their own instrumentation rather than fitting ours as well. This made the whole process smoother for everyone, not to mention the end fleet customer of the data. And we called it OEM telematics. Furthermore, there had also been many technology-enabled advancements to driver safety data, not least through the advent of machine vision-based video telemetry. This had opened up whole new vistas of positively addressing safety behaviors such as fatigue, distraction, phone usage, smoking, speed sign detection, and seatbelt detection. This data was certainly going to help continue to make strides in addressing some dangerous new behaviors that had arisen through the increased pressures and distractions placed on commercial and non-commercial drivers over the last few years. Other classes of data were also now visible, like driving hours and job-based information, such as vehicle inspections, workflows, tasks, and proof of delivery. These are additional data points that would help maximize the opportunity of connected fleet services by focusing not only on the driving and vehicle experience, but also the purpose of the journeys themselves. And last but not least, it had become possible through improved technological capabilities to augment the other data sources with additional contextual and environmental data like traffic, weather, and types of terrain. And synthesizing this data would help to improve fleet planning, route optimization, and safety programs. Our trip to the past had already showed that data alone was never sufficient to generate sophisticated and satisfying outcomes to our key questions. And in the past, our solution to that had been individual applications and modules. In the present, with all of this extra data and the opportunity it brought, we built and continued to enhance and perfect ever more innovative experiences tailored to our fleet stakeholders. These experiences at their best produce a salient customer journey that provides one or more meaningful outcomes. This means going beyond data provision or even information. And critically, this experience is not complex. In fact, it cannot be complex. It must be simple and clear by design in order to be effective, as it is all about the stakeholder being empowered to get the answers they need to that more nuanced question set. Two such examples of this experiential ethos are the connected vehicle and protected worker experiences. In the connected vehicle experience, the stakeholder is provided with information presented in a meaningful way that gives a complete 360-degree view of the key metrics of a fleet vehicle, incorporating efficiency metrics, leading to the capability to optimize costs associated to operating fleet vehicles. And in the protected worker experience, the stakeholder is equipped with the latest technological and experiential tools to improve driving safety, whilst respecting data privacy, both through the tools that work on this, as well as the operational and legislative processes which are designed into the holistic experience itself. Ultimately, through this different kind of design thinking, we're able to step back from the individual components and view them as synergized experiences, specifically designed with the end goal and the user in mind. The other important lens that we should look through to see the second key catalyst for this new type of information experience is the human expectation revolution. And by this, I mean that technological capabilities and time to market are now so super advanced that ideas can be conceived and built and brought to market at warp speed. This naturally creates an expectation of fast-paced advancement that we carry through from our conditioning in our personal lives to expect more and faster in our professional practices. And it's not just speed that is important. Ultimately, we know that we all deserve fantastic service. And fantastic service is about the customer experience, the quality, and the ease and integrity of that engagement. And in the world of a telematics partner, for instance, this has become key critical because there is now the opportunity for a fleet operator to partner with one single vendor, with one single tech stack, and one single software platform to get the benefits of optimized outcomes, cost-effective implementation, and a smooth experience. That last point feels like a perfect segue into furthering our journey into the future, which could be your near present, again, dependent on when you currently feel that you are, if that makes any sense at all. If we look at the star chart ahead of us, we can see some compelling star systems to visit. The first stop is the expectation of the data acquisition through partnering with OEMs. Fleet operators should increasingly expect the cost, complexity, time, and aftermarket hardware element of the equation to become a diminishing concern. Secondly, machine vision-based video has unlocked a conglomeration of safety and coaching benefits, particularly in respect of driver behavior like fatigue, distraction, and protection through ADAS in one solution. And this trend is set to explode with the force of a neutron star over the next 2 years. We're already seeing this, particularly in Europe and the States, but it is coming everywhere fast. And thirdly, the progressive transition to fleet electrification and decarbonisation is gathering tremendous pace, and we all have a part to play in providing valuable services to get there, and we'll touch more on this shortly. Next, the role of the driver or operator is changing. Increasing pressure and increasing partial automation are at play, but we see the role of the driver very much being prominent for the foreseeable future. Yes, there is an acceleration of autonomous and semi-autonomous driving, but the near future remains about the driver, driver-centric, and we will be there to support both futures at the right pace. Next, the impact of artificial intelligence and machine learning is absolutely huge and bears more discussion in this session momentarily, as is the drive towards the ultimate information experience, building on the foundations that we saw now in the present. The needs and expectations of information consumers will grow as new technologies become available, which necessitate the need to fundamentally change the experience from that of just receiving data for interpretation to actually delivering real insights and outcomes with less human intervention. And this type of movement results in a progression from reports through to diagnostic, to predictive, to prescriptive analytics. It is not synonymous with total automation, but it does require a significant journey through a wormhole to get there. Or in other words, it's a leap because it ultimately changes the composition of our worker skill set and the skill set of the fleet manager. But it is a leap that fleets are starting to take more and more. And fleets will be going through that wormhole in the non too distant future because the rewards are extensive and the threats are numerous if they stay where they are, as we'll see in a moment. When you do go through that wormhole, you realize that there is a multiverse dynamic at play. In its simplest form, in the artificial intelligence universe, we see computers acting and deciding in ways that seem intelligent. And this type of intelligence is so useful in an organizational scenario. Because of its abilities, AI has the quality to identify informational patterns that optimize trends relevant to the job. And in addition, contrary to humans, artificial intelligence never gets physically tired. And as long as you keep giving it data, it will keep going. So these qualities mean that AI is perfectly suited to work on tasks that are repetitive and need a lot of data and take place within a closed management system. Then on the other side, in the authentic intelligence universe, we see this incredible capacity of human ability. Humans can feel, anticipate, and imagine, and can think dynamically between short and long-term concerns in real time. And in this way, humans represent what we call authentic intelligence, required for open management systems. And I believe it will be the combination of the talents included in both authentic and artificial intelligence working in tandem in the augmented intelligence universe that will make for the future of intelligent work. It will create the kind of intelligence that allow organizations to be more efficient and accurate, but also remain creative and proactive, just like human beings. And this is the combination that will truly advance fleet connectivity, creating the most awesome teams and results of the future. And I can already see how that is going to play out as we're taking the first steps to this type of model right now in my company. And through this combination, we can see the potential for vital fleet benchmarking, comparing the gains of fleets across the world in similar scenarios with similar variables, and understanding then predicting how those learnings can be applied to your own fleet. Getting on-demand insights into patterns of data is a marriage of artificial intelligence at work across enormous data sets, together with the curiosity of the human mind to posit intelligent questions and then receive the answers. And using adaptive metrics models, where fleet improvements are established and then built upon through dynamic, predictive, recommended alterations to scoring models or KPI measurement, that will generate even more improved and sustained results. Again, a symbiosis of human and machine capabilities at best. And this type of journey doesn't need to be into the unknown. It can be a planned, organized activity with solid and tangible milestones along the way. And this graphic provides a mechanism for plotting a course to the ultimate fleet information experience, all the way from the initial input of data through to real-time visualization, to business intelligence, to performance, to insights, to prediction, and ultimately intelligent action. The key questions that we need answers to build up in terms of their potential positive business impact as the evolution accelerates. It's a hugely exciting journey that we're all on to get there to the ultimate information experience. And the final stop on our journey is our most important stop of all, our own planet. We're all seeing a rapidly accelerating realization that we collectively are responsible to help reduce CO2 emissions through ever more efficient fleet operation, decarbonisation and electrification of our fleets. And once again, data and the information experience have a huge role to play, and we're docking with 3 outposts that are working on solving these problems. On board our first satellite, the transition to electric mobility. And connected fleet management provision has a big role to play here through answering questions on fleet activity profiling, like what are the loads carried, the distance, the terrain, as well as dwell time, where are the vehicles parked for long periods, as we need to charge during the dwell time in order to maximize range for the following shift or day. And finally, what are our current running costs based on the activity profile? This information will inform the vehicle selection process, i.e. what type of vehicles need to be purchased, what are the required technical specifications for the job in hand. And hopping across to our second satellite, range anxiety is this worry that the vehicle will deplete its stored energy reserves before it can be recharged, thus leaving the driver and vehicle stranded. Ergo, having the key data at your fingertips on all the factors influencing range in a unified experience is key critical. And the objective of using this information is to increase the range by decreasing inefficiencies. Type of information here includes plug-in compliance, battery state of charge prior to the journey starting, driving performance, excessive mileage, and hybrid driving modes if applicable. On our final stop, on the space station, we look at key insights for optimizing fleet availability and utilization, things like vehicle state of charge and the derived driving range. And this information needs to be available in real time to enable informed decision-making, helping operations and maintenance teams to compare vehicles, optimize fleet utilization, minimize downtime and maintenance issues. There is so much information here that can be super useful to this transition. And accordingly, we've reached the end of our journey together today, but really the start of a much longer one. In conclusion, we've seen how the beginnings of the digitalization of our connected fleet has driven more understanding of how we shape the better connected fleet experience of the future. And we're now on the course of navigating between digitalization, automation, and augmented intelligence, all of these really significant trends, by maximizing the technological opportunities to achieve true fleet sustainability and the ultimate connected fleet experience. It is a tricky course to navigate, but it is not impossible with the right collaboration. And I'm confident that together, we as the connected fleet community will arrive in the next space of true opportunity. Thank you so much once again for journeying with me today. I really do hope that you found the session fun and informative. If you would like any further information on anything I've said today, please feel free to connect and message me directly on LinkedIn. And I really do hope that you enjoy the rest of the Fleet Conference. Thank you.